Right, we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Then and Now program. Speaking to you today, Sunday, the 16th of June. It's your host and presenter, Prince Emil Kroma, coming to you live from the city of London. And welcome very much to today's program. As usual, before we start, we just try to do what is routine. It's going to be heavy today, clean, precise, and to the point. But just before we start, let's get some music. Okay, Fambulem, like I've been say, welcome to another edition of the Then and Now program. Me where they speak once again, na my name Prince Emil Kroma, and me na the host of this program, Then and Now. Today na a very special one, and we get two very special guests. I not see them as yet, to be honest, I not see them as yet, but I the hope say they will join the program any moment from now. And I just want to welcome those of you who don't already sign on at the forum where they watch the program right now. I want to say a big welcome to Una. Okay? Like I say, we're supposed to talk to two very special people and today on events back home. Okay? And these are serious times, and serious times need serious conversations. So one of the person who was supposed for the talk to today, now a person we recently claimed the limelight. Just imagine how times are nowadays. Just one moment, give me a moment of fame. And today then they talk about him globally. If I remember the young man we speak during the recent protest against the visiting head of state of Sierra Leone, His Excellency retired Brigadier Julius Madabio. Okay, so we just wait. I just wait for he join the show so that we will able to bring and come on, and then we will continue with Usai with Day. So in the meantime, whilst we wait, yes, Sister Asana to hello, how are you? In the meantime, whilst we wait for he join, I go play the song once more, and then we go begin for develop the case. I go begin for make me submission for today's program if I know able to get them on time. So let me listen again here. Yes, Mr. Mohammed Kamara, hello there, my brother. How you do? Welcome to the program. Mr. Fox, welcome to the program this Sunday afternoon or evening, not afternoon, sorry about that. So we just wait for our first guest. Yeah? We'll wait for our first guest and Mr. Stevens. You know exactly waiting for Duna. You will wait on. I don't tell you say 9 o'clock sharp. We get with audience already. Don't tune on. Yeah. Yes, Sister Ramatu Mansare, welcome to the program. Then and now, I want to share this video. Let other people enjoy. It's important that we understand what's in the go on. And to see the heading. Okay. All right. I'm not able to forget the first guest as yet. I don't know waiting to go on, and I've been on tell and say 9 o'clock sharp. But we need for carry on tomorrow Monday, and everybody get for begin for go about them business beginning tomorrow Monday. So therefore, make I begin for make me submission. And just before I start, you know, as a matter of professionalism, I want to apologize to the audience and those that will see the flyers later, the one where we distribute. Obviously, there are a couple of grammatical, typographical, spelling errors, and I put my hands up, I own up. It should have been far better than that. Unfortunately, that ain't happened. And I know the reasons why, but next time we'll aspire for make everything correct. All the T's dotted and all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed. So my apologies for the errors on the flyer. On yesterday, we have a very important program in which we spoke to somebody who is very well connected with the President of the Republic of Liberia, a fellow called Joshua Bernard. Of course, that's past. We encounter many difficulties. So we plan for repeat the program again on Friday. So those of you that are watching, to the Liberian community and the rest of the international community, please spread this good word that we will have somebody who will be talking about the government and people in Liberia, a Liberian who is well connected all the way up to the number one man, the president of the Republic, George Opon Weah. A lot of people asked me, what about it yesterday, the topic? And the topic was, is the romance with the people, that is George Weah's romance with the people, is it over now? That was the question. But this Friday, 9 o'clock at about the same time, is going to be really powerful. Thank you, Lawrence, for telling me that all is normal. So, Fambulem, there is a lot going on in the Republic of Sierra Leone, and as a people, it is imperative upon us that we have a space where we can discuss with differences, because this affects every one of us, either one way or the other. This is not the first time we say that the polarization in the country is heavy. Whatever anybody do, be it government, be it the opposition parties, be it individuals, it just sort of cut across the line, sometimes all the way in the middle, in which people are not sort of they agree. And then you therefore ask yourself, like you just see the question where we ask, what then is the problem? Why is the situation so toxic and becoming toxic, more toxic by the day? Okay, so from Bintumani 3, of course, there were many other things before Bintumani 3, but we fast forward onto Bintumani 3 because supposedly the reason why Bintumani 3 conference was organized was because it was meant to make a provision for peace. Peace was the watchword to be discussed at that particular conference. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be, and I say we'll fast track onto Bintumani 3 because everything else that happened prior to Bintumani 3 was meant to be discussed at Bintumani 3, which had to do with the peace and cohesion of the nation. Unfortunately, again, that fell on flat ground. The objectives obviously were not realized because series of major stakeholders boycotted the meeting. So from Bintumani 3 to the expulsion of parliamentarians from parliament, the court order, the Supreme Court order revoking the elections results of these parliamentarians, and the opposition party, the major opposition party, APC, not taking it easy, and then trying to protest, and the headquarters was attacked in a heavy police-handed operation, which left brutal scars on the country and its reputation, all the way up to the streets in London, where protests were held against the visiting head of state, retired Brigadier, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio. It just shows things are not really going right. So we wanted to speak to our guest today who spoke at that occasion, who was the spokesperson for the protesters. Unfortunately, we don't have him yet. So I think I will make way to see whether the second guest can be introduced. Mr. Mohammed Kamara, if you are currently partaking on the program, and I believe you are, can you send me an invite, or let me see if I can send you one and bring you on whilst we're waiting for the second guest to sign on. Whilst we're waiting for the second guest to sign on, let me see if I can bring our second to the show. He's always been on this program, and we are happy to have him here again today. I just want to say congratulations and hi to my co-host who I haven't seen for a long time, neither spoken to for a long time, and that's Brother Dauda Bangali. How you doing, brother? I hope all is well. So I'm just trying to bring in our second guest, and then we will commence from there. And if anybody has got the contact for Mr. Stevens, that is Mr. Stevens, Mamadou Stevens, will you tell him that we are waiting him, please? In the meantime, you need to have your phone or gadget, wherever you're watching from, in a horizontal position. Don't ever forget that. That's the way it works. Split screen, and there he is. The magic of technology. Mr. Med, if you are hearing me loud and clear, I just want to say welcome to the program, my friend.
Thank you very much, Brother Prince. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, here today we've got a man who is politically active. When I say active, I mean politically active. He makes no bones about where he stands on the political aisle. He's a well-known feature out there. also a well-known feature on this program, Then and Now. Because of issues currently going on, is obviously belonging to the opposition party, but has got his convictions, his views, his opinions, which we want to hear today based on many things that are ongoing in the country. So for those of you who don't know him, because we've got a few first timers, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to welcome Mr. Mohammed Kamara, aka Supermed. Supermed, once again, welcome to the program.
Yes, thank you very much, Brother Prince. And I want to say hello and hi to all you viewers and listeners all around the globe. And I'm very, very happy and pleased to be with you guys this evening.
Thank you. Yeah, go on.
Thank you very much, Brother Prince. If I may just continue. But before I start, the way you summarize the whole thing where it happened, I feel saying a brilliant summary of how you don't put things where it happen from USA we don't begin and USA we do right now. But I just want to begin with one quote because it's do anything we can do, I believe say we guide now that country they since so don't get democracy now the 1991 Constitution. And it clearly states the opening chapters, in fact, are the fundamental principles of the Constitution, where it states clearly in chapter 2, section 5, subsection 1, where it say the state of Sierra Leone, the basic fundamentals of the state of Sierra Leone, where this country lie on, na democracy, justice, and freedom. So these are the basic principles of the Sierra Leone democracy. Democracy, freedom, and justice. But now we get for ask yourself the question. We know we all they try very, very, we utmost best for make sure so we can't go before we can't get better. We know say there are many, many challenges. But really, really, are them fundamentals here so with this current administration, the SAPP government, and then they follow up when are the democracy, freedom, and justice? And that's not a big, big question because what you do, when we come for justice, we just see what happened a few weeks by where this administration manipulates basically the judiciary for me to pass a judgment.
Mr. Supermed, I'm just going to halt you there because this is something definitely that we are going to be discussing. And I'm happy that you are already, you're moving forward with what you suppose or preempting is going to happen. But I got somewhere that I want to start from in the first place. I do agree with you that the Constitution, I think is part 3 of the Constitution, subscribe to the power of the people. That government, derive its sovereignty, its power from the people. And the Constitution also provides that the people have got a right of assembly, a right to protest. This is a constitutional guarantee, so we just want to set that record straight. Now, Mr. Supermed, I have, fast-tracked this issue to Bintumani 3. The reason why I fast-tracked the beginning of this program to Bintumani 3, because Bintumani 3, the intent, as I understand it from the head of state who proposed the Bintumani 3 that came into being some time ago, a couple of weeks ago, is because he understood that there is no peace and harmony, that the fragile democracy, the thread on which the country hangs on right now, is in the balance. And to make sure, that the foundations are solid for the country, and understanding that the polarization, the division, politically, economically, socially, is so much in the country that there was a degree to which the president was committing himself, or so he made the people to understand, that there needs to be a peace conference. So that peace conference, B3, was meant to encompass everything that had gone wrong, so we could take it from there going forward. But unfortunately, it fell on flat ground. What's your take on Bintumani 3? Why did you think it fell flat on the ground?
Thank you once more again, Brother Prince. I believe peace is not just something that you just go into a conference to discuss about. Peace is about your everyday action, how you treat your neighbors, how you treat your friends, how you treat the country in general. So it's very, very important because thank God we are not in any conflict situation in that country. We know that in the past government, the past 10 years of former President Ernest Bai Koroma, Sierra Leone was rated as one of the most peaceful countries in Africa. So we know all about that, and there is no conflict going on. All what brings the tension is that the rule of law is not being respected. It doesn't matter if it's the opposition, it doesn't matter if it's the government or whoever, we have to respect the rule of law as enshrined in our constitution. It's very important. So if the rule of law is
you're not accusing the government of violating the principles or the rules of law.
Well, I'm not accusing anybody directly as violating the principle of rule of law, but what we're seeing is very simple. We saw an election, a by-election for just a council seat at Tonkonlimba, and we know what transgressed. Even the one of the civil society people who went to monitor it said it was grossly unfair. You know, that's one of the basic tenets of in a democratic state. The people have the right to elect their representative either in the council, as parliamentarians, as whatever. So if the right of the people is not being respected, the basic right to elect their people, then the rule of law is not being respected in any democratic state. And we saw it, and there were categorical evidence all over from all the people who observed that by-election, that the rule of law was not respected. You see, so these are the basis wherein you have political instability, wherein, like for instance, let me just give you another simple example today. We just getting reports that the former vice president and the previous regime who traveled out landed today at Lungi, and he was trying to make his way to Poloko City, but the police stopped him from entering. I mean, for what reason? As a Sierra Leonean citizen, you have the right to move from point A to point B.
Yeah, that's an allegation in the meantime, and we want to talk things, here of substance. I don't want to be dwelling too much on hypotheticals and etc. But again, the government will be making similar accusation that it is you that is threatening the peace and harmony of the nation, because all they want to do is to get on with governance. What would you say to those